Welcome to the Mindset Think Tank podcast, where we dive into the transformative power of mindsets, offering insights, strategies, and real life stories that inspire listeners to cultivate resilience, creativity, and personal growth. I am your host, Tina Dawson, and thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Today, we're thrilled to have the incredible songstress, Vanessa Simon, joining us. Her soulful voice and powerful lyrics have inspired so many. And today, we're diving into her journey and what truly fuels her music. I invite you to like, share, subscribe, and invite others to tune in and be inspired. Help me give a warm welcome to tonight's guest, Vanessa Simon. Can you hear me?
You said incredible. Thank you. Incredible. Wow.
Well, I'm glad you like the intro.
Yes.
Thank you so much for saying yes to being on the show. It is an honor to really have you and to interview you. And thank you for your friendship. I am just so giddy to have you on the show.
Me too. We can't be giddy the whole show, though.
No, we can't be giddy the whole show, but we got to make sure that you drop some nuggets for these viewers and listeners.
Certainly hope so.
You will. You're full of knowledge. So I'm thankful that you're able to share your knowledge with our viewers. I always start off by first asking, how's the family? How's everybody doing?
Oh, we're all doing well in this house. Myself, Winston, and Bubba.
And
The dog.
Oh,
Bubba, the dog. That's the baby, the dog.
Okay, I didn't know about Bubba. Yes, I did. I think I did know about Bubba.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
we're
we're going to allow you to begin by telling the viewers a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, as you know, my name is Vanessa, and I use B because my middle name is Brendina. I love Brendina. And my last name is Simon. And I'm so grateful to be here with y'all tonight. I come out of Philadelphia, born in Philadelphia, and I was raised in New Jersey most of my life. And I spent some time in South Carolina too. But New Jersey, Paterson, New Jersey, I would say is my hometown. And yes, it is. Any of y'all from Paterson, New Jersey? Please say hey to me. Because I tell you, when I moved down here to Georgia, I never thought that I would see so many people from Paterson, New Jersey, but there are a lot of people here now from Paterson, New Jersey. Can you believe that?
Wow. This is the transplant city. So there's a lot of people. If you run into someone who is actually from here, a Grady baby, or was born in a local hospital, it's rare. So
it is rare.
Yeah.
And Winston is a Grady baby. Can you believe that? He is a fresh-blooded Atlanta baby. Because you can count, and I tell you, I could count a handful of people that's actually not from Atlanta.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's something. But that's okay. That's just the way it is. I moved down here after the Olympics in 96.
Okay.
So I know people say after that time, a whole lot of people started moving here. Mm-hmm. And it's been like continuous ever since. But it's been great. I'm glad I moved to Georgia. Finally moved there. I used to visit all the time. I had a friend down here. And I said, one day I'm going to move to Georgia. And it finally happened.
Yeah, it's quite a few people that come to visit. And then they just either don't go back or they schedule to come back to live. So what about your schooling?
I went to John F. Kennedy High School in Paterson, New Jersey.
Okay.
And after that, I went to South Carolina State. Took a year off. I really didn't want to go to college because, I got a job and I had moved back to Philly and my sister had a job for me. and I was doing my music thing. I wasn't really singing a lot yet, but I was taking some classes and workshops and things like that. So I was happy, but mom was like, no, you're going to college. You're going to school.
Rules.
And something about South Carolina.
Yeah.
But I got a scholarship, music scholarship to South Carolina State.
Okay.
And I tell you, that's when I really blossomed. That's when I really found out
Mm.
who I was and what I was meant to do and meant to be. And then my journey kind of started, when I was younger. Of course, I used to sing in the backyard, play in the backyard, making up songs. And I really wish that my mom knew at that time to kind of take me and develop me, but she didn't know. Mom was always working, taking care of
Yeah.
business.
Mhm.
But I got this opportunity to go to work with her. She worked at YWCA,
Mhm.
and they had these classes there, and I got the first time to find out about musicals, The Sound of Music and Fiddler on the Roof, girl.
Oh,
I tell
wow.
you, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the way they sang, and I got an opportunity after that to take my first classical voice lessons.
Okay.
It's amazing because there was someone in my high school that would take the children in the community. He would spend his own money. He would ask you what you wanted to do in life
Mhm.
or what you like to do, if it was sports, running track, or whatever it was. Mine was singing. He paid for my first vocal lessons.
Oh, wow.
First vocal lessons he paid for, and that kind of sparked it in me. And then when I got to college, it was amazing. God is something because he had in place for me someone that it seems like he was just waiting for me to show up, because
Mhm.
he poured into me. And Dr. Evans, I'll never forget his name. He was my vocal coach. Or at that
Okay.
time, they didn't call them coaches. I think they just called them teachers or
Mhm.
instructors, you know.
Mhm.
But he stood me in front of that mirror and he said, look at yourself and listen to yourself and
Mhm.
understand what God has gifted you with. And from him motivating me and pushing me and showing me what I need to do, how to sing properly, how to form my lips, how my breathing should be, all those things, that posture, also all those things that
Mhm.
go into singing properly, and especially singing classical music. He really motivated me and made me understand and see what blessings I had inside of me.
Right.
So
Right.
I really kind of blossomed in college. I blossomed.
Wow. So, what roads can you go to? What opportunities are there out there for students that have a heart for classical music? Is it like the orchestra or things of that nature?
I was with singing with the concert choir,
Okay, concert choir. Okay.
concert choir in college, and then I tell you from that it grew. I mean, there are many opportunities. I'm sure now, this day and time, it's a whole lot more probably than it was back then. So now South Carolina State is a university, so I'm pretty sure they have a whole lot more things that's available to students. But I got the opportunity to record with the concert choir as a soloist. I traveled on tour with the choir as a soloist. We traveled from South Carolina to Florida, all the way up to Niagara Falls, New York, and every state in between. And
Mm.
that was an awesome experience for me. And the highlight of that was when I got an opportunity to perform in Philadelphia during that tour, and all of my family was there.
Oh, wow.
All of my family that I grew up with and my
Mhm.
other family. So now I think I might have mentioned to you, I have two families,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
my mother that I know as my mother that raised me, and my real mom, my blood mom with me. So that was
Mhm.
amazing, an amazing experience to have both of my families there at that time. So that experience in college, it was none other. It's nothing like it, because that really took me to a whole nother level. I'm not saying that other things didn't happen that caused me to go on a detour and be derailed somewhat along the way, but that right there really helped me to understand what I had inside.
Wow. So that experience seems like it really prepared you for what was to come later,
It did,
because
without
you
a doubt.
had the touring and the soloing and that experience with the concert choir. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And it's
Mm,
something I would get pulled out to perform. And we're having a humanities class in the auditorium. And
mm-hmm.
Vanessa, you're gonna come and sing. We're talking about Baroque music or whatever it was. You gotta come and sing. And I really appreciate that. Now I look back on it,
Mm-hmm.
and that happens a lot. You look back on things that happened to you. You may not have understood it at that time, but when
Yeah.
you look back on it, when you get older in life, you're like, wow, what a great experience
Wow.
and a great opportunity that was to prepare me for the things
Mm-hmm.
that was to come. And the other magnificent thing that Dr. Evans did for me
Mm-hmm.
was to take me to see Leontine Price. If anybody don't know who she is, look her up.
Okay.
Fabulous opera singer, African American. Could
Mm-hmm.
not believe what I was seeing with my own eyes sitting right there in front of her. And I appreciate Dr. Evans. I just wish I could have gone back and thanked him before he passed on, and I never had the opportunity. But that was a great person, and God put that person in my path, I believe.
So you are a prime example of how young adults or children can flourish once they have been exposed to different environments and have been given different opportunities. And the way I think that we can always thank people that go before us is to make sure that we um, um, to make sure that we take advantage of the opportunities that come and
Yes,
really expound on the opportunities that they give us
yeah,
while we're here.
yes, for sure. And it's something I know a lot of times that young people go to school, they don't know what they want to do.
No.
You go and you take these classes, you're going to school for 2 years probably before you realize, what you want to do. And I went into school not really knowing that's where I was going to go, but I was going into music. That much I knew I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't want to go the education route, but of course we had to take some education classes and be in a classroom setting. But that's not really the direction I wanted to go, and I understood that much later. But just knowing that I wanted to do music, that was a stepping stone in itself, you know.
Mm. Yeah. And exposure helps your mindset because it gives you a different perspective. It broadens your knowledge of what you think and it adds to that, right? And I think a
Right,
lot, if we would expose our kids and our children and our young adults to more, then they can be a little bit more well-rounded because they can have a different perspective. And you're right, when you first go, you think you're going in for one thing, but then you look at the course load and stuff like that, that might not be the road for you.
right,
And then so many people change their majors, or some people
right,
come in undecided, and then they, through their classes, their core class, they soon to find out what road is for them.
right,
So you're so right.
right.
Sometimes we do not know. But I'm glad you shared that because I really think that exposing people to different environments, see, that's something you will never forget.
Never.
You will never forget. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Just to look
Wow.
to be in small audiences, huge audiences, college assemblies. I mean, it's an amazing thing, amazing experience, and you take it with you for the rest of your life.
So let's talk about you moved to Atlanta and let's talk about your journey to the vintage Vixens.
Uh-oh.
That was a neat group. That was the first time I came to see you
Yeah.
perform,
Yes, you
and
did.
that was a treat. I really enjoyed it. It
I
was
tell you,
totally different.
I tell you something about that. You mentioned something about the things like now for the when I was growing up, I only had AM radio. Well, maybe I only knew about AM radio, and on
Okay.
that WABC AM radio, they played soft rock.
Okay.
I knew all about those songs that I did with the Vintage Vixens from
Really?
when I was a child, 11 years old, listening to that
Wow.
little radio. Okay, the Carpenters and the Beatles and Cream and Fifth Dimension, all those songs, the Woodstock songs, the Motown songs. That's what I was
Mhm.
listening to. I didn't really
That's
know about
amazing.
R&B until I got to high school, my sophomore year. That's when I found out about
Wow.
the R&B station, WBLS in New York.
But
So
now it
that
makes
prepared
sense.
me. Can you believe that?
But it makes sense that you shared that because you were so comfortable on that stage. You were so comfortable. And I was like, but now it makes sense because you were already exposed to that music.
Yes,
So you already knew it. That's
I
why you
already
were
knew
so
it. I
comfortable.
already knew it. And when they reached out to me and I went to that audition, I already knew. I just
How did
knew
they
it.
find you?
Found me online on Facebook. Found me on
Wow.
Facebook. And went to that audition. I sang my few songs that they sent me, and we sat down and talked for a couple of hours. I mean, just a great conversation, great energy. I loved it. I already knew. Inside you kind of knew, kind of
Yeah.
know.
Mm-hmm.
But I waited for the call back, and it didn't take long. And I think it was like the next day or something. They were calling me and saying they would choose you, and I'm like, wow, that was a great opportunity because we had so
Mm-hmm.
much fun dressing up in that theme attire, the hippie. I loved it. My hippie outfits, I was making hippie outfits and stuff. Bell bottoms and the long vest with the fringe, all of that. Loved it.
And those of you who are not familiar with the Vintage Vixens, look them up. They're all female band, and they do a variety of different music.
Yes,
And
they do.
it was so much fun to watch you though.
It was.
I was really tickled. And my friend that came along, she really enjoyed it. She really did.
Was that? Was that at Napoleon's? Was that the night you were at
The,
Napoleon's?
the, the place in Briar Cliff or is down the street from North Lake Mall. It was in the North Lake Mall
I
area.
think that was Napoleon's.
I couldn't remember the name. I had
Okay.
never been there before.
Yeah, I think it was. But yeah, what an experience. I mean, we traveled a lot. We did a lot of things for, the senior community,
Okay.
55 and up communities were always having events that, we were performing at and outside of that also. But I remember one thing that we did in Hiawassee, uh, Georgia, that it was on this stage. I can't remember the name of the place, but it was in Hiawassee, and that's when we really felt like stars that night because it was a huge stage, and we opened up for somebody. I can't remember who it was. Somebody that was famous back in the day, and we opened for them. And they wanted us to come back, and all those spotlights hitting your face. You can't see like from 2 rows back. You can't see. We felt like stars and write your
Wow.
name up on the wall and stuff like that. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience. It really was.
What was the furthest you all have ever traveled?
Florida.
Okay, so you stayed on this
Florida.
side. Okay,
Yeah,
the
we
east
stay in the South,
side.
Florida, South Carolina. And no, I don't know where they are now, but yeah, when I was still with them, I think the furthest we traveled was like Florida.
Well, you all were known because I mentioned that band to some people, and they knew exactly who the band was. And I was like, you just don't know who listens to what genre of music, so you can't really look and tell. But
You
yeah, I
can.
mentioned it to a couple of people, and they knew the band.
And even I was the only sister in the band. That was okay
Yeah,
too. You're all sisters. I said those
yeah.
are my Vixen sisters. those are my sisters. We're still sisters to this day. You know.
Wow. How long were
But
you with
I
it?
I was with them for almost 5 years.
Okay, okay.
And you might want to talk about that transition from there to other things, but I'll wait for you.
Okay. Well, no, we can talk about that because let's go.
Because, even though that was a great experience, I still had a
Mhm.
dream
Yes.
that,
Hmm.
I wanted to perform. I wanted to do jazz. I mean, I had it on my vision board for a long time. I
Hmm.
had the vision board where, you had the poster board and then,
Hmm.
you cut the pictures out of the magazine and then you
Yes,
cut
I
the
remember
words out, you
that.
paste it, you paste it on there. That's the kind of vision board I had on my wall for a long
Yeah,
time.
that's the one I'm familiar with.
Yes. And I kept looking at that vision board. This is that my desire was to sing. I have a picture of me on a microphone with this lady in this gorgeous gown singing in
Mhm.
like a beautiful cafe or something like that doing jazz. That's kind of what that vision was for me. And
Right.
Lord have mercy, did it happen?
Yes, yes,
Gee
yes.
whiz. I mean, I had to make a decision to leave Vintage Vixens. It was hard.
Mm,
It was
mm-hmm.
really hard because I was having fun, I was making money, and we were traveling, and nothing comes without challenges. Of course,
Right.
we've had our challenges, but for the most part, it was really, really great experience.
Mhm.
And from there, I had to make a decision to leave there and start working towards the things that I love to do. And
Mhm.
Dexter Tolson, you know him and I know him,
Yeah.
dear, dear friend. I say mentor too. And
Mm-hmm.
he opened his platform to you and for me to come
Yeah.
in and to perform. And I did my little jazz thing, every now and then, every opportunity. Well, I had opportunities like every month, but I would
Mm-hmm.
always check with him, see if it's okay for me to, come in and do something. And he would say, yeah. And
Right.
something he said to Winston one time, and Winston kept reminding me of, kind of like, that window is closing. It's almost like you
Mm.
have a window of opportunity, and you're
Okay.
going to have, you really, to me, it was saying to me, I got to make a decision what I'm going to do here, because that window is closing. That means that opportunity may be waning and leaving. So, with encouragement from Winston and friends, and just trying to find out what exactly I need to do, when to do it. Prayed a lot. I didn't want that decision to be anyone else's decision. I wanted it to be mine. So I sought God a lot about it, and I finally made a decision. I resigned from them on, I think it was May of 2022.
Okay.
And I tell you, after that resignation, things started changing for the better. It's
Yeah.
like, what is it saying about preparation meets opportunity?
Mm-hmm.
Things
Mm-hmm.
started changing. Like Winston had a friend that has an event space, and they were chit chatting, saying the things that I wanted to do, and he's always looking out for me. I'm his sugar biscuit, and the band's name is Sugar Biscuit, y'all.
Right.
And got to this conversation, and then it went from that into us curating our own shows
Mm-hmm.
at the Red Door in Stone Mountain, and we called it Vibes Jazz Cafe at the Red Door.
Mm-hmm.
We started having shows in 23, just about every month.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, we had to start thinking about, okay, well, where the band members coming from? And of course, what happens? Dexter Tolson and friends, Bobby Henderson, the drummer, helped us
Mm-hmm.
out in the beginning. We
Mm-hmm.
had Dean Webb to help us out in the beginning, bass player. We had even Thomas Blaylock at times to help us out
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning. And then through word of mouth, we got our saxophone player and our keyboard player and our bass player. So blessings all around. Thank you, Dexter Tolson and friends. I really appreciate him. He knows
Yeah.
when I'm performing someplace and he's there, and I point at him and say, you know what you have done for me. And for Winston would tell that there's nobody like him. There's nobody like him. And we really appreciate the opportunities that we had. And from that, it just December 2022 was when the band started. Sugar Biscuit.
December 2022. Okay.
That's when the band started. We had our first virtual meeting. I just found that. I'm like, wow, we had our first virtual meeting December 20th, I think, of 2022 with all of the
Okay.
band members. We had our first show the end of February, Vibes Jazz Cafe at the Red Door, February
Wow.
2024. And so
Wow.
from that year, we did that. And 2023, I'm sorry. And then
Mm-hmm.
2024 came around, then we started getting outside of the Vibes Jazz Cafe. And now we're performing all over.
Right. Right. So let's go back. Um, because I did personally know you at the time you were making the transition. So
Mm-hmm.
let's go back a little bit. So how important is it? And we're talking about this particular part, we're talking about really stepping out on faith, following your gut, following your intuition. How important is it for people who know that there's just something better out there for them, for them to just really take the leap, you
Mm-hmm.
know, do your research or whatever, but to really take the leap. Can you talk a little bit on that?
You have a vision, write your vision, make it plain. Let's start there. I had a
Mm-hmm.
vision board. I knew what my desire was. It was in my prayers all the time, always preparing myself for it.
Mm-hmm.
However, whatever you need to do, my vocals, if you're a musician, you playing your keyboard, learn everything you need to learn. You're always growing. You never stop growing. You're always
Mm-hmm.
learning something. You're always growing. You collaborate with people and you move on from there. It's always, you have a dream, you never give up on your dream. You're always working towards that dream. Whatever it takes for you to get there, you keep going. You keep preparing yourself. You keep working on yourself, and you'll get there eventually. You will get there. You just can't stop believing that it's going to happen. It may not
Right.
happen tomorrow. It may not happen
Right.
in 5 years. But if that's what your desire is, and God knows, He's already got it laid out for you anyway.
Right.
You know, it's there. It's just timing. And,
Right.
when you are faced with something and you're not sure about what to do, go in your prayer closet. However you pray, go in your prayer closet, go in your silent place, and you seek Him out, and you will get the answers that you want to have. You really you may, like I said before, it may not be now,
Right.
but it will be. You just have to prepare yourself. What it is you need to do to prepare yourself to get to whatever that is, start
Mm-hmm.
doing that.
Right. I remember you had called me one day and you had shared with me that this is what you were thinking about doing. And I remember the piece of advice that I gave you. And I said that you have to do the right thing for you, even
Right.
if it's unpopular to people around you and they don't understand.
Mhm.
This is something that God gave you. And you have to do what you feel is right for you.
Right.
And everything else will fall in line, and it really did, because you made a decision. And sometimes people, I'm learning. I listened to a podcast not too long ago, and they were saying that there's a difference between a choice and a decision. A choice is where you have a plan A, B, C, D, E, and a decision you do not.
Mm.
Right? You have that one decision, and I'm gonna decide this, and I'm not looking back. I'm only looking forward. And I'm just so proud of you, because you made that decision to take that leap, and just to see how things have evolved and um, fell into line. That's how
Yeah.
you know that your decision was the right decision, and
Yeah.
things have just fallen in line
It
for
has.
you. And I'm just so happy for you. I really am. Let's talk about this too, because a couple of times I spoke to you after that initial decision. You spoke it.
Hmm.
And I told the friend of mine that I brought with me at St. James Live, and I was sharing your story with her. And I said, this young lady manifested it. I did not know about the vision board, but Vanessa, every time I spoke to you, you spoke that. You said, Tina, this is where I'm going. This is what. So let's talk a little bit about, can you give any encouraging words about how you have to see it before you see it, right?
Yes.
And how you have to speak it. So can you give any encouraging words to any listeners or viewers out there about the power of positive speaking and thinking?
Words are powerful. You're thinking,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, to talk about the thinking thing. I've had some times in my life where something was done to me negatively, and I kind of carried that for a while. So I had to work through that and figure out how to take that negative thing and turn it into a positive thing. I used to put
Mhm.
this rubber band around my arm, and it was like something to remind me of when that negative thing would come to me. I take the rubber band, pop it, and it was like your
Yeah, right.
jitter, right? And that was to say, okay, now turn that negative thought into a positive thought. You
Right.
speak into existence what you want to happen. This is what I want to happen. I had it on the vision board. That's what I want to have. Take it off that vision board, put it in your heart, put it in your mouth, put it in the atmosphere. It's
Mhm.
just that simple. I mean, nobody's saying it's easy. Nobody's saying it's
Right.
going to happen all overnight. But you have to keep believing, and you have to keep speaking it. Write it. Write the vision, make it plain. That's the vision board for me. Writing the vision, making it plain. But
Right.
also taking it off of that paper, out of your mouth into the atmosphere. You know, God already know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's already there. It's already done. But we have some work to do too, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
We have work to do. We just have to believe it, speak it, write those affirmations down, and say who you are and what you are and where you want to be and where you want to go. All those things. That made me think about something else Winston used to do for me
Mm-hmm.
when I was with the Vintage Vixens. Right, it's almost right before I was trying to make that transition to leave and to move on. I had to write it down. Find it real quick. He would send me
Okay.
a song, right? The song was by Atlantic Star.
Okay.
It was called Silver Shadow.
Mm-hmm.
And he would say, you know who you are,
Mm.
you know where you want to go. Now go shine.
Okay.
That's what he would say. And the shirt I have on says shine. I wore it on purpose because of
Okay.
that. It says shine. Because he said, go shine. And that
Mm-hmm.
stuck with me and that stayed with me. Every time I went to perform, no matter what was going on, I would keep that in my heart. I'm here to shine
Mm-hmm.
because that's who I am.
That's
I am
right.
here to shine. I'm here to shine the glory of God, but I'm also here to shine for you, for people.
Mm-hmm.
When I sing, my presence, the energy that I bring, I'm shining. I'm exuding all of that out of me. Because when I sing, I perform, I want people to hear it and experience it and feel it. I don't want people to come in and leave the same way.
Right.
That's how I feel.
Right. Right.
And
How
any,
important? I was
hmm?
going to ask you how important because you have a real good support system. So, how important is it as going through this transition? How important was it, or is it, to have a support system that supports you, believes in you? Your environment. I believe your environment is everything. I
It
always
is.
say you're a product of your environment, and So, how important is it for you to have that safe and that supportive environment as you're making these life changes or journey shifts?
It's very important, and it's very important to make sure that you have the right people around you.
Mhm.
You know, people that's gonna speak into you and encourage you because they know who you are and what your desire is for your life, and they see it, they know it, and they
Mhm.
share that with you. So it's really important to have those right people. You have the wrong people around you, they could say some negative things to you that can just throw you off the tracks, and it's going to take you some time to get back on the track and get back on the page you were at before they threw you off. So it's really important. People that I had around me, my best friend Priscilla from high school was always encouraging me. My sister from Philadelphia used to come and bring me albums growing up because she knew I loved music. My bestie here in Atlanta that I met, Carmen,
Mhm.
she had me singing in places you would believe. A cook, a cooking workshop. We could be at a meetup group. She could sing. She could sing. Always. That was during the transition time when I wasn't really doing
Mhm.
anything, but she was
Mhm.
always pushing me to sing. Let her sing. She could sing. People like that. And then when the
Yeah.
Lord blessed me with Winston, it was all over.
Okay,
So
everybody. For those of you who haven't figured it out, Winston is the fiance. He's not a boyfriend, he's a fiance.
yeah,
So yeah, and he's
he put a ring on it.
amazing. He's
He put a ring on
amazing.
it.
He put a ring on. He is
Yes,
so encouraging though.
yes,
I'm telling you, he is a blessing. He
he
is a
is. He
blessing.
really
Every
is.
time he sees me, he just an encouraging word, an encouraging word.
Mm-hmm.
That hug he always gives me, and an encouraging word. I tell you, I love him to death. I really do. He is
Yeah.
a sweetie. He is.
all the all the things you'll see if you look at my social media page,
Hmm.
Sugar Biscuit Band on Facebook, or mostly Instagram. You'll see all that you see. That's Winston.
Hmm. He
That's
really
him.
believes in you. He really, really believes in you. He really
Yes,
does.
without a
And
doubt.
it gives single women like me hope. It really does. That there's really some good people, some good men still around.
Menses, yes, there's still some good menses. And then y'all, and then, you know, y'all forget about the age thing. Because, I'm a seasoned woman and
Mhm.
I have a fiance,
That's right.
so it can come. You never
Yeah.
give up. Never give
Yeah.
up. If that's your desire, never give up. Keep believing, keep hoping, keep praying for it. But he has been truly a blessing. I've never experienced anyone in my life like him in the
Hmm.
male form
Right. Right.
before. Not never.
Hmm.
He makes sure that the videos are done, videography, the photography. That's what he does.
Right.
That's his
Mhm.
job. Videography, photography. He does the social media stuff. When we were going to see Dexter Tolson at Calabar, he was doing
Mhm.
sound for Dexter.
Yeah,
He
that's
does
what I
sound for
mentioned.
Sugar Biscuit
Hmm.
Band. He's the manager of the band. So he
Hmm.
he wears a lot of hats, but he loves me, and that's what's really important. And that
Well,
name Sugar
that
Biscuit
shows you
came
that
from
you
him.
did the work. You did the work to be able to
Oh
receive
yeah,
it when he came. Yeah.
very true. And I'm glad you said that. I talk about
Mhm.
all the time about working on yourself. Working on
Yeah.
yourself. I have a fiance that I actually live with now. You have to learn how. You've been living by yourself for a long time, ladies. You're gonna have to change some, you know. And I was willing to make the change because the things that I was doing as a woman on my own,
Yeah.
I didn't want to do all of that.
Right.
I wanted the man to do it, but he wasn't there, so that meant that I had to do it. But
Right.
now it's funny because now, I say, Winston, can you come and move this for me? Babe, babe, can you get that out the cabinet for me? Babe. And then, I think he sent me a clip, or I sent him a clip. We saw this lady was doing the same thing I was just saying. And then when the man wasn't there, she was picking up the chairs by herself and moving them across the room. We can do it. It's not that we can't do it. Now, the
Yeah.
bugs is another thing. I
Yeah.
don't like bugs. I'm going
Yeah.
to call him for the bugs. But we can do it. That doesn't mean that we want to.
Right.
We want our man to do it. There are things that men should do. That's old school, I guess, y'all. Can't
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah. Well, just like you prepared yourself personally for him, you
Yes.
also prepared yourself to be able to walk into being a solo artist. So let me ask you this: how do you approach self improvement and growth, both as an artist and personally? What are some steps that you took to grow as an artist and then grow personally?
To grow as an artist, we always have to keep in mind that there is growth. There should always be growth. We never stop. We never get stagnant, and we never get comfortable. You have to step out of your comfort zones. For me, before I performed at St. James,
Mm-hmm.
I saw a post about, or someone sent me a post about um, Apollo Nights at St. James. This was last 2023.
I think I remember seeing that flyer.
And I decided I was going to do the competition.
That's
I've
right.
never done it before in life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stepping out of my box. I was nervous. Winston was helping me. We recorded the song and sent it to them, and they accepted. And I stood on that stage and performed. And then after that, we did a video, Thank You, St. James Live. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't win, and I really
Mm-hmm.
wasn't prepared and wasn't trying to win, but I was stepping out of my comfort zone.
Right.
We made a video afterwards, thanking St. James Live for the opportunity. And I think Winston asked me a question, where would you like to perform? And I said it was St. James was like the ultimate place that I would like to perform on that stage. October 27th,
You spoke it.
2024, I performed
Yeah.
along with Sugar Biscuit Band at St. James Live, Sunday
Right.
Jazz Lounge.
Yes, you
Isn't
did.
that awesome?
Did a wonderful,
Thank you.
wonderful job.
Thank you. It was a great
Wonderful job.
experience. So that preparing yourself for whatever it is that you need to do for you to take you to the next
Mm-hmm.
level. For me, I needed to do that to take myself to the next level. And then finding a vocal coach that
Mm-hmm.
could take me to another level, someone that really fit me. I went through a few before I really found one that really, really understands where I want to go and has the ability to take me to where I want to go. vocally, and not just vocally, but stage presence, performance, and all that. How you do your songs, how you present your songs, all of that inclusive as an artist. Now,
Mm-hmm.
personally, oh my gosh, there's some things that happened to me in my life where I had to work my way through it. But how
Mm-hmm.
did I find ways to work through it? Of course, the Word of God.
Yeah.
But there are times that the Word of God wasn't quite enough for me for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
I went to workshops with women, consultations, whatever it is that I needed to do to work my way through. I went through courses,
Mm-hmm.
mindset courses. That's why when you said mindset think tank, I'm like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
that's right up my alley.
Yeah.
You know, whatever that I needed to do to change the way I was thinking and the way I saw myself, I had to do that. There was one time a friend of mine has passed on. She had workshops at her place in Roswell, and we were working through some things, and she asked some questions. And all of a sudden, that negative experience that happened to me in college just came up.
Mm-hmm.
It finally came up and out of me. And then from that happening to me, it took me to another level.
Right.
So, what are those things that we need to deal with in our life? Look at it at face value. Let's try and
Mm-hmm.
figure out how to work through it. If you can't do it yourself, if, like I said, the Word of God wasn't enough for me, you got friends, you got people that are doing plenty of workshops, life coaches,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you need to do in order to take yourself to the next level and work through that so you can be a better you. That's
Right.
what I did.
Yeah, I think that that's the key, is doing that self-examination and doing the work on you. And I've had to do it myself. And once I started doing that, then different avenues opened up for me, on many levels. And I realized that it starts with me, because everything that's connected is is an extension of me, right? So I have to get me together. And
Yeah.
best decision that
Yes.
I ever made. And sometimes he forces you into he
Well,
forces you into a season of
yeah,
isolation so that he can talk to you and get you one on one. But best decision I have ever made, which was not to fight. Let me just say that, right? Which was
right.
not to fight. And I totally agree with you. Things have just opened up. Um, what are what are some lessons you've learned throughout your career that you pass on to an emerging artist?
Hmm. Really knowing who you are. And
Mm-hmm.
that's again through what we were just talking about, processing through
Mm-hmm.
whatever you need to process, whatever happened to you when you were a child, you need to work through that. Face value, face it. Let's deal with it. Let's dig down deep. I'm always talking about let's dig down deep, dive deep into
Get
this
to the
thing,
root.
into the root of this problem
Get
and
to the
figure out
root
where
of it.
this mess is coming from. I don't want it in
Mm-hmm.
my life no more. I want to change. I want to be better. That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
If you feel like you're being stagnant and you're not moving and you're stuck, there's something that's keeping you stuck. Why?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on in my life? What's happening to you that people don't like to be around you? Okay. What's happening? Find out what that is and what that root is of that issue, and let's work through that. Working through that, man. I tell you, it really was a blessing in my life to take me to another level. It
Mm-hmm.
really was. Um, I can't really think of anything at the moment. What else? But say the question again.
Well, it was, what are some lessons you've learned throughout your career that you passed on to an emerging artist?
Oh, okay. And I think I was saying that know who you are, regardless
Mm-hmm.
of what somebody else has to say. Be sound in who you are, who you know God has made you to be. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
that is inside of you that God has given you, know it. Love who you are. I had to learn how to love my voice even. Because there were times I was like, ooh, I hear myself on the recording, somebody saying, oh, who is that? I don't know what it was. I had to learn how to love me, all the parts of me.
Mm-hmm.
My
Yeah.
voice, I had to learn how to love that. Love you, understand what God has given you. I can't tell you anything better than that. Don't let people tell you what you're not, because I've had some people tell you, well, you're not no singer. If you
Mhm.
know that God has already blessed you with that, don't let that deter you. Don't let any of that negative stuff deter you. Learn how to combat against any kind of negativity at all in your life. Don't accept it in your spirit. No.
Right.
And be careful about drama.
Yeah.
Don't hang around people that cause drama. You don't want drama in your life. I don't want drama in my life. I want peace. I want joy. I want positive energies coming back to me. If we can't be like on the same level somewhat, you got to know where to put people.
Yeah.
You have to know who is a friend, who is if they're
Associate.
not, there you go. That's the word,
Yeah.
associate. You have to know where
Mhm.
to put those people because everybody's not in your corner. So be very careful what you say to certain people, what you share to people. Some things you have to hold to dearly in
Mhm.
your heart until you know that you have somebody you can trust. Now, do you
Right.
have people around you that you can trust? That someone that you can go to that can help hold you up and support you when you need it.
Mhm.
Your artistry is important, knowing that you are an artist. Don't let somebody say, well, you are just this or you are just that. Now I know I'm a singer. I've written a song. I'm an artist. I'm not just a singer anymore. Now
Right.
I'm an artist. So know
Right.
who you are. Know where you're going.
What does the songwriting process look like for you? Do you follow a specific routine or is it more spontaneous?
Now that's a little different for me because I'm new,
Okay.
but new with writing, but I had to learn, how to structure a song. I knew what
Okay.
the lyrics were because I was journaling and
Okay.
that's where the lyrics came from the journaling
Mm-hmm.
and learning how to put all that together, how to structure it, how you put your verses, your bridges, and your choruses, and all those things that go in it. I had to learn how to do that, and then I had my first single last year. Can you believe it?
Wow.
May of 2024, my first single came out, Strange Love. So look
Okay.
up Vanessa,
Where can people find it?
all streaming platforms,
Okay.
Spotify, Pandora, Music, Apple Music, YouTube Music, on all platforms.
Okay. Okay. And it's under Vanessa B. Simon.
Vanessa B. Simon, and I know there's some other titles out there, Strange Love. So make sure you attach my name to it, then you'll find it a lot easier.
Well,
Thank
congratulations.
you. And of
You're,
course, Derwin Daniels would collaborate with me on that. I knew the melody that I wanted. I had the
mhm.
lyrics. And he helped me put it all together.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he's special to me too.
Hmm.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
Thank you very
And
much.
then you talked about not liking your voice. We can be our own worst critic,
Oh
you
yeah,
know. And then then you talked about, um, back again about environment. You know, everybody can't go. I put a post out there um, recently, I think it was last week. Everyone cannot go. As you go through different cycles of life, you just season, reason, lifetime. Everybody can't go. And when
right.
you take the wrong person into the new
Uh,
season,
ooh.
we can do a whole podcast on that.
Oh my God. But people know how to tear you down. You got to be careful with those. Got to have the right people. That's for
Yeah,
sure. Hmm.
that is so true. Um, how do you manage the highs and lows of the music industry while staying grounded?
Oh wow, highs and lows. You have to find some other things to do.
Okay, that's okay.
And then during that time when we have your low time, start working on you. Find other things you can
Mhm.
do. I'm back into learning how to do piano again. It's been some years, so I'm taking
Mhm.
a class, in piano, and I'm on page 77 now in my book. I still knew how to read music, but trying to play that bass and treble clef together with both hands, I got to
Mhm.
learn that all over again. So I look forward. I can do a little better with my practicing, and I will. But I look forward to actually playing and singing one of these
Right.
days myself.
Growth.
And yeah, man, shoot, just and what else can you do to help yourself, help your business as an
Mhm.
artist? What can you do to help yourself? Help find out more about how to work on social media. Social media is a thing now, you
Yeah.
know. So you got to learn how to get yourself out there on social. Make some videos, of
Mhm.
yourself. They can't be like ours, more professional. Do it. Work with what you have.
That's
You
right.
work with what you have. Um, you do your photos. Make sure you get some good photos out. Whatever it is that you need to do to help yourself to get there. And then if you're not doing music, what other things that you know how to do that you
Mhm.
love doing? I love doing graphics. I started doing graphics. And then I was a life coach at one time. You didn't know that, did you, T?
No, I didn't.
Yes, I have a little ebook out there, 5 days to renew you. And I said, okay, now
Oh,
a lot of
wow.
times people say, it takes you about 28, 30 days in order to break a habit. I'm always hearing people say, oh, I can't make it through 30 days. I said, okay, let's just start with 5 days then. Can we do that? Let's start with five. Work to that five. Then let's take the next five.
You know what? It goes back to what I said earlier. There's a difference between a choice and a decision.
Yeah.
It really is. If you really want it, you decide and you make the decision and you move forward.
You, you
That's
sound
it.
like Winston. Yes.
So listen, before we end, I want you to talk about your journey to your St. James Live event. So performance. So how did that come about?
Oh, well, that came about through social media. Winston is on social media. He is our promoter. He was always reaching out to venues trying to get Sugar Biscuit Band, to
Mhm.
perform there. And Lori Williams saw us. She saw us, and that's how it started. And Lori Williams is the host of
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
Jazz Sunday Jazz Lounge at St. James. So that's how all that started, and it just happened so quickly, and then we had to end up getting a new keyboard player. Our keyboard player that we had, ended up having to leave. So I was a little bit on edge about that because, oh my gosh, here we got a month and a half. It's time to hit the stage at St. James, and we had to get a new keyboard player. We had to find them.
Mhm.
Then he had to learn all the music. So it was really kind of a little bit, but it worked out. I mean, it all worked out.
Nobody would have
Prepping
ever
for
known.
that, oh my gosh! And then the people showed up and showed out. I put a video out there and gave the clarion call, and the people showed up. Everybody did what they were supposed to do. The band members brought people. Winston brought people. I brought people. I had family from New York, New
Yeah.
Jersey, Philadelphia. My son came to town from Oregon, so he's
Mhm.
working in Oregon. So he came back to town for the show. Um,
I
it's
almost didn't
amazing,
get a ticket.
huh?
I almost didn't get a ticket. It was
Oh,
full.
it was full. And I cried out to my family. I sent them invitations. I like, y'all, come on, this is huge for me
Oh
and for
yeah.
Sugar
If
Biscuit
you're
Band.
if you're playing at St. James Live, that's like a
And
staple and
yes,
in Atlanta. And if
and
you've made it to that stage, it says a lot about you as an artist, says a lot about you as a band. Because that's like I said, that's just a staple.
it
And
is.
it was I really enjoyed myself and my friend that was with me, she enjoyed herself. What do you think about it? I mean, I know you enjoyed the night. I know you were overwhelmed, but you know, um, what did you think of overall about the night?
It went by so fast.
It did.
I looked up at the clock. It was a 90-minute show. And I looked up
It
at the
did.
clock one time, then it said it was like uh 20 minutes left. And I was like, 20 minutes? I said, where'd the time go? So now I'm thinking in my mind, okay, we need to cut a song or two because we had more than we needed, in which we always try to do that. We don't want to be without music because we have to play until the clock runs out.
Okay.
Have to play until the clock runs out. But it was an awesome experience. I felt the energy from the crowd. I tried my best to get it right back. I sang, and I sang too. I mean, I just gave it all that I had, and I really appreciate the opportunity, and I got an opportunity to speak to Ron St. James, and we got an opportunity. Winston spoke with his wife also, and him, but I really didn't get a chance to see her after the show, and spoke with
Oh, they were
Lori.
there.
Oh, they were there.
Oh,
that he
I've never
hugged.
seen them
Oh
before.
yeah,
Yeah.
he hugged me afterward and said, "We got a spot for y'all because they invited us to come back for a couple of
Wow.
different things." Yes, so we already have a date for next year, and then
You should
they're
be
getting ready to
proud.
do
You
something
should be
new
proud.
for. I am. I'm grateful. I really am. I'm humbled for it because dreams do come true. It's never too late. You're never too old to live out your dreams. You to just keep at it. Keep at it. Never, don't give up, y'all. I can't stress that enough.
So where do you see your music going in the next few years?
Whew. Someone said something to me after the show, and he said, "Your voice fills up this place." And he
Oh,
said, "Your voice should be in bigger stages." And I said, "Thank you for putting that in the atmosphere because that's where I would love to go to even bigger stages than that. Myself and Sugar Biscuit Band. I don't know how far. I'm not putting the limits on anything.
right.
And I'm gonna keep going until I can't go anymore. And I'm just blessed and I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to do what I love to do. And every day I look for what's next. Okay, that was like a challenge. That was something to work towards. I think
Yeah.
I work better like that when it's something to work towards. So even though
When
you
it's
feel
a
like a
big
little on
goal.
edge, yeah, but it's like that's a goal I got to work towards. I got to get prepared for this. So
Yeah.
we're, having rehearsal every week. Now we got shows 2 this weekend, and we
Oh,
got
wow.
2 next weekend, and we got shows in December. So I'm grateful. I really
Yeah,
am
and the
looking
holidays are
forward.
coming up. So yeah. Is there any final anything that you hope the listeners take away from tonight's interview?
Hmm. Well, I certainly hope you felt my heart. I certainly hope you felt my energy. I certainly hope that you felt the love that I tried to bring through my words and through my laughter. I'm happy. I'm joyful. I'm a loving person. And I like to give that,
Mhm.
back, right back to you. And I guess I try to do that, when I'm on stage. Now, I don't do that. I think I do that, when I'm around people anyway, but even on the stage, more so on the stage, I like to give it all that I have. And I don't want to forget to say, this is a quote that I have.
Okay.
This is when I was a life coach, and my name was Lady Van Marnay. Okay. And this quote is called The Essence of Life. It's the part of you or feature of you that forces you into being that something that gives you identity, that pure, untainted something that was breathed into you at birth. Whatever God say you were when you were born, that's what you're going to be.
Mm.
That's what you are going to be. Whatever you were leaning towards as you were growing up, like me was singing, that's what you were going to be. But work towards it. Make it happen for yourself. Give God an opportunity to open the windows of heaven and pour out the blessing that you don't
Mhm.
have room enough to receive. Do
Right.
something for it to prepare yourself for it. And
Right.
hey, it's a blessing. It really is. Do it. Never give up.
Wow. Thank you for that. Your information is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. If anyone wants to hire the Sugar Biscuit Band or get in contact with you, which email, phone number, which information is best?
Well, that's mine. Winston is a manager, and usually it will
Okay.
go directly through him. But since we're on this live, you
Okay.
can certainly reach out to me. It won't be a problem, and I'll just direct that information right to him. Phone number is correct. Email
Okay.
is correct. Vanessa B. Simon at hotmail.com. Phone number 404-907-6693. You can also reach out to us on Instagram and send us
Okay.
a message. You can do that too. Yes.
Okay. All righty. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to interview you. I've learned a lot. I've learned a
Thank
lot.
you, Tina. You know I
But
love you, girl.
you are so welcome. But the main thing that I want the viewers to take away from this interview is how you did the work on you. And because you did the work on you, right?
Yeah.
And you allowed the opportunities to come, and then you watered it. You took vocal lessons. You increased your knowledge in a lot of different areas. And so that when the door opened and the opportunity came, Vanessa, you walked right through it. And every door that has been open for you ever since I met you, you keep walking through the door. And I just want to say thank you because you are very inspiring to me. And I'm thankful for your friendship. You supported me at the grand launch, and you stayed and you participated and you got to meet a lot of people that were dear to me. And a lot of what you talked about, I'd experienced during the grand launch. So I totally understand it. Everybody can't go. And you have to allow God to lead you, in your journey. You're not perfect. We're not perfect. We make mistakes, but you still have to allow him to lead you. And I really think that when you make mistakes and you have hiccups, that's just how you grow. And that's just the knowledge. You wouldn't have that knowledge if you didn't have those hiccups. Mm-hmm. So, we're better people because of how we transition and dealt with those hiccups. And I just thank you for sharing that because and also power of spoken word. Yes. From the day I met you, you have spoken where you wanted to go. And I've always said, girl, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm with you. Let's go. And then when I shared what I was doing with you, you said, girl, I'm with you. Let's go.
We're going to do this together.
Yeah, we're doing this together. So I really appreciate you. And I'm back in my book. I have picked up my instrument. And
Tina on bass.
Get my secret.
Oops. Oopsies.
So yeah, I picked up my instrument too. So I just wanted to, take the time before we end the show to tell you thank you because you've inspired me. And you're right. Thank you to everybody who's given us opportunities to allow our gifts to shine, no matter what level we were at.
Right.
Dexter and Derwin Davis is my music teacher. So, it's just a blessing to be surrounded by those type of people and people that can see the gift in you and help water that gift when you can't water it yourself. So that's a blessing. That's a blessing.
Truly.
That's a blessing. So our mission today was to uncover the heart and soul behind Vanessa Simon's music, the thoughts, challenges, and inspirations that shape her artistry. I hope this conversation gave you a glimpse into her journey and the mindset that drives her creativity. As a reminder, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. By subscribing, you'll be the first to know when we drop new episodes and exclusive content. Just hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell to stay connected. We appreciate your support. Thanks for helping us grow and share these stories with more people. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you on the next interview. Good night.
Bye.